Joining me this evening are guests from the BJP and the Congress. We're waiting for our Congress guest to join us, but Shehzad Poonawala, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, is live with me right now. Shehzad, good evening to you. My first question is, you're saying that the Congress's Black Friday protest was about opposing the Ram Mandir Foundation stone laying anniversary, the second anniversary of it. How are you conflating the two? Because they seem to be protesting inflation, GST, price rise. Why are you saying that this is wearing black to protest Ram Mandir Foundation stone laying ceremony?
Because you don't have to go very far. If you hear Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary's statement, which you will find on ANI also, he has said that Shri Ram has been weaponized. Polemy, when the Congress spokesperson comes here, if he does arrive, ask him that would they ever say that about any other deity or any other god of any other faith? Would they say, for instance, XYZ God has been weaponized? And this is not new. This is the DNA of the Congress. You remember they said that Ramji doesn't exist on affidavit. You remember Manishankar Iyer once asked, "Kaun se kamre mein paida hue Shri Ram?" You remember they in the Mehengai ki rally in Rajasthan said Hindutva is equal to ISIS and Boko Haram. You remember they went to court and they said, let's stop the Ram Mandir for some time. When the Ram Janmabhoomi, the Bhumi Pujan happened 2 years ago, they tried to can I continue?
Yes,
is there
please.
a problem? Yeah. When the Bhumi Pujan happened, they tried to go to court. One activist who now later joined TMC, Saket Gokhale, was with the Congress then, had tried to stall it. In Maharashtra, they said, why should there be a Bhumi Pujan? And after that, you remember, every 5th August, they have tried to create some kind of protest against that day, on the day which is the most revered day for all faithfuls. So, you know, this is the common thread of the Congress party, that Hinduon ko, Shri Ram ko apmanit karo, do gali, taki mile vote bank ki thali. You know, because we are Ram Bhakts, but you know, in Tushtikaran ki Rajniti, some people are Rom Bhakts.
Okay.
I don't mean any place by Rome.
Okay, let's ask the Congress. Let's ask the Congress that. Ashpreet Khadial of the Congress party spokesperson is joining us this evening. Good evening, Ashpreet. Would you like to take that question? Were you opposing the foundation stone laying ceremony anniversary of Ram Mandir yesterday?
Not at all. See, number one, it's not really the fault of the BJP that they were confusing it with that, because the BJP does it all the time. For example, the twin condition that the Supreme Court order was passed for, they changed it through a finance bill, then Aadhaar card also. You know, so BJP does it all the time. That's why they're confusing with it. But let me tell the BJP one thing. It's our protest. We are protesting against something. Let us tell what it is about. It is about inflation. It is about unemployment, number one. Because of the BJP's failed economic policies, today the inflation, retail inflation is at top in 12 major countries. In the last 30 years, inflation hasn't been this high. From the last 14 months, the inflation has been in double digits. Essential commodities, you know, have been included in the GST. For example, curd, pulses, honey, you know, hospital beds, they haven't even spared children for that matter. Sharpeners, pencils have also been included in the GST.
Can you ask
and the benefits are not even being passed on to the people of India. We don't understand where this money is going, and why does the BJP have to waive off 60,000 crores of Vijay Mallya? You know, if there's such a dire need for money to accumulate so that you can spend, why are you waving off so much money of Vijay Mallya, Mehul Choksi?
Okay, let the BJP respond to that. Shehzad, are you running away from these questions? Are you deflecting the issue? These are the questions.
Polemy, I once again request you and your channel to please play the statement of Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. He could have listed all these points after taking it from Harshpreet, and he could have said those points. Why did he say Shri Ram has been weaponized? My first question to the Congress spokesperson is that would they say that ABC's God has been weaponized? Why this leverage only with the Hindu deities and Hindu faith, where they say ki Ram kaun se kamre mein paida hue, Hindutva is like ISIS and Boko Haram. Now, as far as inflation is concerned, Ashpreet, would you be caring to say what was the inflation rate during Manmohan Singh era? It was above 9% average and 10% for 9 months out of 12 months. Secondly, no, 1 second, don't need to shake your head, and let me tell you what was the sugar price. Let me tell you, sugar prices went up 481% during the Congress regime, rice prices went up 150%, wheat prices went up 176%, tur dal, I would like to ask my dear friend from Congress, do you know how much tur dal costs today? It costed 180 rupees in the UP area. and today it is 100 rupees. So you increased tur dal prices to 180 rupees. Then a gas cylinder to the non-subsidized, to the cost to the taxpayer at the time of UPA was 1241. Today it is 1053. It is 2400 rupees in America if you compare the prices. So even lower than America or lower than many other Middle Eastern countries, the gas cylinder, the cost to the taxpayer is there today. And petrol prices, during the UPA regime, the petrol prices increased by over 100%. During the BJP regime, now in the last 8 years, it's increased by 35-36% because there are two black swan events that are taking place in the world. There is COVID also, there is also Ukraine-Russia war, a lot of supply chain constraints are there. Of course, there is a bit of inflation, but that average inflation is still below 6.5-7%. It's not crossed 7.5%. So these are the hard facts. Those who give inflation of 10%, if they want to protest against Mengai, 1 litre of petrol in Rajasthan costs 108 rupees. The same thing costs 95-96 rupees in Uttar Pradesh. Highest VAT in Rajasthan. Yeah. The highest unemployment is in Rajasthan, 29%. It's been over 20% for 1 year. So please go and protest about Mengai and about price rise like you did already in Parliament in Rajasthan. But please tell me, would you ever say about any other faith that their God has been weaponized?
Okay. Two questions to you, Arshpreet. One about, would you say that about any other faith, that their God has been weaponized? And secondly, about the facts and figures that Shehzad put out in terms of inflation and what they were during the UPA and what they are right now.
Let me start with the second question first. The statistics that have been suggested by, I think, Mr. Poonawala are wrong. Let me suggest some fresh statistics. I don't know where he's gotten them from. 23 crore people ever since the BJP government has come into power have gone below the poverty line. 23 crore people, Shehzad. Number two, 97% of the people of India, 97% mind you, their incomes have decreased ever since your government came into power. And then you wanted to do demonetization. And the BJP government said, oh, 2 lakh crores are going to be, coming in and be spent upon the people of India. Arey bhai, 99.3% of the demonetized currency notes came back into the banks. This entire exercise was futile, wasted energy, time and money on the people of India. And till date, we are having to deal with the repercussions of that. And the corruption, has it ended or has it increased? The Hawala transactions, have they stopped or have they increased? And of course, the money. Aajkal jo jali notes hai, you can see pehle 1 lakh used to be 1 crore because 1000 ke notes hote the. Ab 2000 ke note hai, to ab 2 crore aa jate hai. So the BJP government has worsened the situation and is still not apologized for it. Number 4, can you please tell us, Shehzad, why do you have to implement GST on essential commodities? Why do you have to make the common man suffer, the people below the poverty line suffer? And not just that, the BJP, is attributing one individual statement to the entire party. Well, if you want to go by that logic, if you want to go by that logic, would you accept what Nupur Sharma said? Should that be attributed to the whole party? Should that be attributed to the BJP? Because what she said, you said she's a fringe element after the statement was made. So therefore, the BJP till date hasn't apologized for what Nupur Sharma said. And number 2, the logic that the BJP party is giving for us, if they accept it for themselves, they can blame us for that. And number 3, Shehzad, these statistics that are being posed, can you please tell us why has the country degraded ever since you came into power, and why are we still dealing with the repercussions of demonetization when it was supposed to be such a big thing that the BJP did to help people?
Shehzad, is Nupur Sharma all of BJP?
First of all, Paulami, I'm very happy. We suspended Nupur Sharma. Will they suspend Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary for the statement he's made? Point number 1. Point number 2, GST Council had the government of Rajasthan's representative. Paulami, I request you to please increase the debate time for next 5-7 minutes. And please tell me the dissent note that was put out by the government of Rajasthan or the finance minister of Rajasthan in this GST Council where this decision was taken. Point number 3, Paulami, what is the unemployment rate as per CMI data which they rely upon in Rajasthan? It's 29% for July and it's above 20% in the entire year from 2021 to 22. If I am lying, please open CMI data. Fact check Mr. Arshpreet, who is low on facts, high on rhetoric and spurious in his allegations. If I am wrong, I will be happy to quit politics. I don't give fake facts like Jairam Ramesh and by like Rahul Gandhi. I have a reputation to keep. Finally, Polemy, you used to cover politics, BJP, Congress, all these parties. Please do tell my dear friend Harshpreet, what was the average inflation during the UPA tenure, during the CPI inflation? It was above 8.5 to 9%. It went above 10% for at least 9 times, if I remember correctly. It was double-digit inflation for a very long period of time. Until the 2 Black Swan events hit us, our average inflation was 4.5 to 5. It's gone up to 7.01 or 7.1, and that too at a time when United States is facing a 40-year high inflation. UK is facing, I think, 29-year high inflation. So even though other countries are not doing as well, those countries have 2-3% inflation. We are doing well. We are the first largest, fastest growing economy in the world. And Bloomberg report, which your channel put out, Polemy, has shown that the probability of recession in this country is 0 when it's 40% in America, 25% in Japan. If any of these facts are fake, I will quit politics. But if Harshpreet Kadyal can't prove that his facts, my facts are fake, then he should take that course. And secondly, what action will they take on Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, who also insulted the Rashtrapati very recently? First Rashtrapati, now Shri Ram.
Okay, this will go on. This will go on as facts versus facts. Harshpreet, I'll come across to you. You'll definitely have your chance to respond. But I have 2 specific questions, one for Shehzad and one for you, Harshpreet. Shehzad, the question is facts versus fact. You can counter them on facts, definitely. You've done that in Parliament. The Finance Minister responded in both the Lok Sabha and in the Rajya Sabha. But the question is, doesn't the opposition party have the right to protest? Several FIRs against Congress leaders yesterday for just stepping out on the streets and protesting what they say are issues plaguing the common man right now. You can counter them. You can say that these are issues which can be in fact debated in the House, debated on the streets as well. But why take away the right to protest?
Nobody's taking away the right to protest. Polemy, you know that the Supreme Court has said that in Delhi the protest can only be held in Jantar Mantar and in Ramleela Maidan. And secondly, there's 144 permanently applied in various parts of Delhi because of the security concerns, and therefore it is more incumbent on parties or people who want to protest to seek permission. They can't go ahead without it. And thirdly, did you see this video of Priyanka Vadra kicking police people? I'll show you the video.
May I give an answer to that? Number one.
One second.
You'll respond. You'll respond.
Yes.
One second. Why is so easy? This is Renuka Chaudhary few days ago holding the collar of a cop.
Our leaders are being manhandled. Our leaders are being
Polemy, I think we can speak one by one. You're not an unfair anchor. Please, Polemy, can we speak one by one?
Harshpreet, just hold on for 30 seconds. Let him complete his point.
Yeah, thank you.
You will have the opportunity to respond.
Yeah, there's also a picture and a video of Priyanka twisting the hand of a policewoman. There's a picture, there's a video of Neta D'Souza spitting at women, people.
Okay, Shehzad, you've made your point. You've made your point. Okay.
There is a video of policemen being beaten up in Assam. Polemy, you're aware of all these facts. Do you have the right to beat up policemen serving in uniform or twisting their hands, kicking them because you feel you want to protest against Bhrashtachar? And Salman Khurshid yesterday said, this is not a protest for saving the country, it's about saving our Neta.
Number one.
Okay, Harshpreet, respond. This is not a question of saving the country, this is a question of saving the Neta. Is what Salman Khurshid has said on record. We also had, in fact, Srinivas on our channel saying the exact same thing. So was this about the common people of the country, or was it about the ED action against Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi?
See, number one, it was definitely about the common people of the country. And the BJP has a problem with, they were asking us, why did you have to protest at this time only? I think Shehzad can give us a timetable and we'll protest according to the whims and fancies of the BJP government. Number two, we really appreciated when they suspended Nupur Sharma, but then we were also astonished when they said she is a fringe element. So is the BJP comprised of fringe elements, Shehzad? Would you like to throw some light upon that? Number three, cylinders, the BJP used to go on roads, sit with cylinders there when the price of the cylinder was 400 bucks. And now they have a problem with the opposition protesting for the cylinders when they are at 1,030 bucks. So this shows on the double standards of the BJP, to what extent can they go and how they can lie. And number four, they say that the protests are basically for their own leaders. Let me clarify one thing, Shehzad, the ED part. We are not afraid of the ED. You can do whatever you want. You can attack us, you can arrest us, you can manhandle us. We have faith in judiciary. And a little right upon that also, the ED's conviction rate is less than 0.5%. You shouldn't forget that. There is not one BJP leader who has an ED case pending against him. However, all the opposition parties have. And it's against the conflict of interest because you are in the government. ED falls right under you. And when you say with a set perception that these people are guilty, it is conflict of interest. And please don't forget the principle of natural justice, which is innocent until proven guilty.
Okay, so that is about the ED action. Ashpreet, my question to you is that you want price rise discussed, you want inflation discussed, you want GST prices discussed. When that discussion happens in Parliament, why do you walk out? Why do you not listen to the Finance Minister? I'm not saying you have to agree with her. You can contest her, you can counter her, but why don't you sit down and listen to what the centre has to say?
See, when we try to speak, for example, I'll give an example of Mr. Kharge also. We want to speak in the Parliament, and the ED, we don't understand what urgency did the ED have that they wanted to summon him there and there, question him there and there, when just the last night, Mr.
Okay,
Kharge
that's
was...
one, Mr. Kharge.
No, I'm
talking about your entire party.
See, please understand one thing. The BJP is the party that has not been calling enough parliament sessions. We have been demanding sessions. We've been asking for important topics. They don't want to discuss the important topics. They want to discuss the topics.
Inflation was discussed, price rise was discussed in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha.
It was more important for us to ensure that the issues of the common people are addressed. They didn't want to make sure that the parliament session was called. And number two, Mr. Kharge was available at National Herald the last night. They could have questioned him, they could have summoned him, nothing was done at all whatsoever. And this is that party that has stopped, that has now put a ban on protests from happening outside the parliament. When throughout, when they were in opposition, they used to protest it there. Throughout they used to do that, and religious ceremonies have also been banned from happening outside the parliament. And number five,
I don't understand the connection between the debate that's happening in parliament and Mr. Kharge getting summoned by the enforcement directorate and to be asked to be present in Herald House.
I'll tell you that. Number one, when we want to speak, we are not given a chance to speak. Mr. Kharge is basically an MP and he wanted to represent the people of his constituency. He wanted to echo their voice, the voice of the common people. Now, when you stop these people from speaking, that is when you set up a wrong precedent, and that is what the BJP party does.
Okay, is that what you're doing, Shehzad? That question to you. Is that what you're doing? You're basically, you are very generously setting up this discussion in Parliament at the request of the opposition on price rise in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, but then also attacking them through the back door, through the enforcement directorate. Mr. Kharge, who wants to speak in the Rajya Sabha, can't be present because he is being summoned to Herald House.
Paulami, just now he said that we did not allow them to protest outside Parliament. The dharna ban issue has come up again. Paulami, you cover Parliament for so many years. The same notice which has been issued by Parliament House Security from 2009 onwards, every session after session, is now being sold as if it was a ban on dharna. They made an issue out of the expunged word list. They made an issue about the lion's teeth being longer than earlier. I mean, what kind of seriousness is there in them? When two debates have taken place in Parliament on price rise, and we are happy to discuss the price rise and the unemployment in Rajasthan where they have a government, they don't want to answer that, so therefore they run away with half facts. I have asked him 3 questions, he won't answer. 1, where's the dissent note of the GST Council from the government of Rajasthan? 2, what action are they taking on Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, who's a serial offender, who even said that Kashmir is not an internal issue, it's an issue between India and Pakistan. Paulami, please control him now. Let me speak.
Okay.
Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has said...
We have very few minutes.
Paulami,
we can have better words, Cesar.
Adhir, can I please complete, Paulami? I am not going to indulge. I am not going to indulge in this.
Ashpreet, I'll come to you, but final few minutes, let's not interrupt each other. Final few minutes.
Thank you.
Please.
Paulami, I have kept the discipline and the standard of the debate. It's difficult for the Congress to keep it. Now let me tell you, Paulami,
it's difficult when you do that in the Lok Sabha.
Paulami, may I continue
Ashpreet, we have a last few minutes. I'll let you have the final word. I'll let you respond to him. Okay.
Yeah. Paulami, after the advent of GST, compared to the pre-GST era, milk powder, curd, lassi, raisins, spices, tea, wheat, rice, flour, soybean oil, groundnut oil, palm oil, agarbatti, tooth powder, hair oil, toothpaste, soap, footwear under 500 rupees, other footwear, aluminium foils, LED, kerosene pressure lanterns, all of this have reduced in prices and taxes. These facts will never be discussed because it's inconvenient. And the ED, whatever it wants to investigate, is as per a court. There is a trial court order which was challenged in High Court, Supreme Court. They got no relief for the Gandhis. The income tax reassessment order, they got no relief from the Gandhis.
Okay.
Now they are on the street.
Final word from Ashpreet. Quickly, Ashpreet.
See, I just want to say one thing to Shehzad. Please, just introspect once before you question the opposition. The government has been stifling the voices of the opposition in Lok Sabha, in Rajya Sabha. We are unnecessarily being suspended. We are unnecessarily being gagged. And they have a problem with every protest that is happening.
Suspension was revoked.
Please hear me out. Please hear me out.
Okay,
I think you should air it out.
suspension was revoked, Ashpreet, yeah.
And they need to understand. He was talking about how we should regard and we should have honor for the orders of the Supreme Court. It was your government that had undermined the order of the Supreme Court when twin bail conditions of the ED were done away with by the Supreme Court. After that, through a finance bill, you basically changed it altogether. So if there is anyone undermining the Honorable Supreme Court, it is you.
Okay, that's all the time that I have, gentlemen. That's all the time that I have on this discussion. I'm glad that at some point we did focus on issues that definitely are worth focusing on, including price rise and inflation. We hope to not deflect away from these very critical issues. Shehzad Poonawalla, Ashpreet, thank you so much for joining us this evening on India Today.